The manila envelope felt heavy in my hands, like it contained more than just paper. I never meant to find it. I was just cleaning out Dad's old study, trying to make Mom's life easier after everything we'd been through. But there it was, tucked behind a row of leather-bound books, practically screaming to be discovered. My name is Sadie, and that envelope changed everything. You won't believe what Aunt Vivian just posted on Instagram, my best friend Allison said through the phone, her voice tinged with hesitation. I was still staring at the trust fund documents I'd pulled from the envelope, my hands trembling. What now? I asked, only half listening as I scanned the papers. Numbers jumped out at me, big numbers. Numbers that were supposed to be my college fund. She's in the Maldives. Like right now. Private villa, personal butler, the works. Must have cost a fortune. My blood ran cold. The trust fund documents in my hands were dated just 2 weeks ago. The same time Aunt Vivian had told me there was unfortunately nothing left of the money Dad had set aside for my education before he passed. Send me the post, I managed to say, my voice barely a whisper. Seconds later, my phone pinged. There she was, my father's only sister, lounging on a pristine beach in designer swimwear, cocktail in hand. The caption read, "Living my best life. Sometimes you have to treat yourself. Blessed ya are luxury, travel, laham, no regrets." Sadie, you okay? You went quiet, Allison said. She lied to me, Allie. She straight up lied. I slumped into Dad's old leather chair, the one he used to sit in while helping me with homework. I'm looking at the trust fund documents right now. There was money, a lot of it. She took it all. What? No way. That's illegal, isn't it? According to these papers, she cleared out the account 2 weeks ago. Every last penny. My voice cracked. The same day she told me I'd have to give up on NYU because there was nothing left. Oh my God, Sadie, what are you going to do? I stood up, pacing the study, my mind racing. Remember Anne, Mom's friend who used to be a lawyer? The one who brought us cookies during the funeral? Yeah, I'm going to call her. I paused, staring at a photo of Dad on the desk. He was smiling, proud, the way he always looked when he talked about my future. Aunt Vivian thinks she can just steal my dreams and post about it on social media? She has no idea what's coming. Want me to come over? Allison asked. You shouldn't be alone right now. Please, and bring coffee. We might be up late going through these documents. After hanging up, I sat back down and really looked at the papers. Dad had planned everything so carefully. The trust was supposed to cover my entire undergraduate degree, with some left over for grad school. He'd even written a letter tucked inside the envelope. My dearest Sadie, this money represents years of hard work and saving, but more importantly, it represents my belief in you and your dreams. Use it wisely, learn everything you can, and make the world a better place. I know you will. Love, Dad. The doorbell rang, interrupting my thoughts. Allison burst in before I could even reach the door, 2 large coffees in hand and determination written across her face. Okay, show me everything, she said, setting the coffees down, and I took screenshots of all Vivian's recent posts. The timestamps might be important. I spread the documents across Dad's desk. Look at this. She needed 2 signatures to access the money, hers as trustee and another from the bank manager. But this signature, I pointed to a scrawled name. It doesn't look right. Allison leaned in closer. Wait, isn't your dad's friend Wilfred the manager at that bank? He is. I pulled out my phone. And I still have his number. Call him right now. My hands shook as I dialed. It rang 3 times before his familiar voice answered. Sadie, is everything all right? Wilfred, I need your help. It's about Dad's trust fund and Aunt Vivian. There was a long pause. When he spoke again, his voice was different, careful, measured. Come to my office first thing tomorrow morning. Bring everything you've found. After hanging up, I looked at Allison. She was already pulling up more of Vivian's social media posts, her face grim. She's been flaunting her spending for weeks, Allison said. Designer bags, luxury hotels. She really thought she'd get away with this? I picked up Dad's letter again, running my fingers over his familiar handwriting. She forgot something important about me, I said quietly. I'm not just anyone's niece. I'm James Davis's daughter, and he taught me to fight for what's right. Allison squeezed my hand. We're going to make this right, Sadie. Whatever it takes. I nodded, a plan already forming in my mind. Aunt Vivian might be enjoying her stolen luxury vacation now, but her paradise was about to turn into something very different. I just had to play this smart. The bank's fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows as Wilfred led me into his office. Allison had offered to come, but this felt like something I needed to do alone. I clutched Dad's manila envelope like a shield. Before we start, Wilfred said, closing his door, I need to tell you something. I never signed off on any withdrawal from your trust fund. My heart skipped. But there's a signature here. Let me see that. He took the document, adjusting his reading glasses. His face darkened. This is forged. Definitely not my signature. A knock interrupted us. Anne, Mom's friend and former lawyer, stepped in. I'd called her last night after speaking with Wilfred, and she'd immediately rearranged her schedule to be here. Sorry I'm late, she said, setting down her briefcase. Traffic was horrible. Now show me what we're dealing with. For the next 20 minutes, we spread documents across Wilfred's desk, piecing together Aunt Vivian's deception. Anne took meticulous notes, her expression growing stormier by the minute. This is brazen, she finally said, tapping her pen against her notepad. She didn't just steal from you, Sadie. She committed fraud, multiple counts. What can we do? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Wilfred leaned forward. First, I'm freezing what's left of the account. She won't be able to touch another penny. And I'm going to make some calls, Anne added. Your father was smart, Sadie. He built in safeguards she probably never bothered to read. There's a clause here about misuse of funds that could be very interesting. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification from Vivian. Having the time of my life. Sometimes you have to seize the moment. Blessed. I turned the phone around to show them. She's not even trying to hide it. Good, Anne said, a slight smile playing at her lips. Keep taking screenshots. Document everything. We're building a case. But what about my tuition? I asked. The semester starts in 2 months, and NYU won't wait forever. Wilfred pulled out a form from his desk. We can file an emergency injunction, freeze her assets until this is sorted out. But Sadie? He paused, looking at me seriously. This means going public, taking legal action against family. Are you prepared for that? I thought about Dad's letter, about all his years of careful planning, destroyed by his own sister's greed. Yes, I have to be. Then let's get to work, Anne said, pulling out her laptop. Wilfred, can you pull the bank's security footage from the day of the withdrawal? And Sadie, I need you to write down everything Vivian said to you about the trust fund, word for word. For the next hour, we built our case. Anne's fingers flew across her keyboard, occasionally muttering legal terms I didn't understand. Wilfred made calls, his voice growing more authoritative with each one. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Allison. How's it going? Need backup? Before I could reply, Anne's head snapped up. Wait a minute. Sadie, look at this. She turned her laptop around, showing a legal document. Your father added a special provision. If the trustee, that's Vivian, misuses the funds, control automatically reverts to you upon discovery of the breach. You're 20 now, legally an adult. Meaning what? I asked, hope flickering in my chest. Meaning we don't just have a criminal case. You have the legal right to take control of whatever's left and demand repayment of what was taken. Today, Wilfred was already reaching for his phone. I'll call the fraud department, get them started on tracing the funds, and I'll draft the papers, Anne added. We can have them ready by tomorrow morning. But Sadie, she caught my eye. Once we file these, there's no going back. Your aunt will know you're coming after her. I pulled out my phone and looked at Vivian's latest post one more time. She was smiling at the camera, without a care in the world, probably thinking she'd gotten away with it all. Good, I said firmly. I want her to know. Anne nodded approvingly. Your father would be proud, you know, standing up for yourself like this. He taught me well, I said, then turned to Wilfred. What do you need me to do next? Go home, rest. Let us handle the legal machinery for now. He smiled kindly. But be ready. Tomorrow we start fighting back. As I left the bank, I texted Allison. It's happening. Want to help me draft an email to NYU's admissions office? Her reply was instant. On my way with pizza and determination. The weight of the manila envelope felt different now as I walked to my car. It wasn't just filled with evidence of betrayal anymore. It was filled with hope. Aunt Vivian thought she could steal my future with a forged signature and a few lies. She was about to learn how wrong she was. My phone buzzed one final time. Another Instagram post from Vivian. Last night in paradise. Some people wait their whole lives for adventures like these. Why blessed on no regrets. Enjoy it while you can, Aunt Vivian, I whispered to myself. Your paradise is about to turn into something very different. Your aunt just landed at Newark International, Allison announced, staring at her phone. We were sitting in Anne's home office, surrounded by stacks of legal documents. She's posting about her magical journey coming to an end. Perfect timing, Anne said, not looking up from her computer. The papers are ready. We can serve her tomorrow. My stomach churned. She has no idea what's coming, does she? That's the point, Anne replied, finally meeting my eyes. Element of surprise is crucial here. Speaking of which, she pulled out a thick folder. These are copies of every transaction she made using your trust fund. Wilfred's team tracked them all. I flipped through the pages, my anger rising with each entry. First-class flights, luxury resorts, designer shopping sprees. She'd burned through nearly half of my college fund in just 2 weeks. The doorbell rang, making us all jump. Anne checked her security camera feed. It's Wilfred. He walked in looking more serious than usual, clutching his briefcase. We have a problem. Vivian just tried to access the account again. But you froze it, I said, panic rising in my throat. Yes, which is why she called me, demanding to know why her card was declined at some high-end boutique. He loosened his tie. She's threatening to file a complaint against me personally. Anne's eyes narrowed. She's getting desperate. Good. That means she's vulnerable. There's more, Wilfred continued. She's been calling other banks, trying to open new accounts. Fortunately, I've put out alerts about the fraud investigation. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Vivian just called. She's coming over for dinner tomorrow. Says she has exciting news to share. I showed the message to Anne and Wilfred. What should I do? Anne leaned back, a calculating look in her eyes. Go to dinner. Act normal. Let her talk. The more she says, the more we can use. But don't let her know you've discovered anything. Wilfred added, We'll serve the papers the following morning. Allison, who'd been quietly taking notes, spoke up. I could park down the street during dinner. You know, just in case Sadie needs backup. Actually, Anne said, that's not a bad idea. Record everything on your phone, Sadie. New York is a one-party consent state for recordings. I nodded, trying to calm my nerves. What if she suspects something? She won't, Anne assured me. People like Vivian are too convinced of their own cleverness. Besides, she thinks you're just a kid she can push around. Speaking of evidence, Wilfred interjected, opening his briefcase. Look what our fraud department found. He pulled out a security camera still from the bank. It showed Vivian at the counter, holding what looked like papers. See that document she's holding? The signature she forged is clearly visible. This is the smoking gun. Anne took the photo, grinning. This is perfect, absolutely perfect. My phone buzzed again. Another Instagram post from Vivian. Home sweet home. Can't wait to share my adventures with my beloved family. Some special surprises in store. Blessed family first. Special surprises? Allison scoffed. Like what? Showing off all the stuff she bought with your money? Probably, I said, feeling sick. She always did love an audience. Use that, Anne advised. Let her put on her show. Every designer bag she mentions, every luxury resort she describes, it's all evidence. Wilfred checked his watch. I should get back to the bank. Sadie, remember, tomorrow night, just listen and observe. Think of it as gathering intelligence. After he left, Anne helped me prepare for every possible scenario. We role-played conversations, practiced keeping my cool, went over what to record and what to say if questioned. What if... I hesitated. What if she tries to get Mom on her side? Anne's face softened. Your mother knows who Vivian is. Trust her, and remember, you have the truth on your side. Allison squeezed my hand. Plus, you'll have me right outside. One text, and I'll create the biggest distraction ever. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Anne said, but she was smiling. Now, let's go over the legal documents one more time. I want you to understand exactly what's going to happen when we serve her. As we reviewed the papers, another text came through, this time from Vivian herself. Can't wait to see my favorite niece tomorrow. I brought you a little something from my travels. A little something bought with your own money, Allison muttered. The nerve of this woman. I stared at the text, feeling a strange calm settle over me. You know what? Let her bring her gifts. Let her tell her stories. Let her think she's won. I looked up at Anne and Allison. Because the day after tomorrow, she's going to learn what real consequences feel like. Anne nodded approvingly. That's the spirit. Now, let's make sure tomorrow night goes exactly according to plan. Outside, the sun was setting, casting long shadows through Anne's office windows. In less than 24 hours, I'd be facing Aunt Vivian across a dinner table, pretending I didn't know what she'd done. But for the first time since discovering her betrayal, I wasn't afraid. I was ready. The doorbell chimed at exactly 6:30 p.m. I checked my phone one last time. Allison had texted that she was in position down the street. The recording app was ready. I'll get it, I called to Mom, who was finishing up in the kitchen. Taking a deep breath, I opened the door. Sadie, darling, Aunt Vivian breezed in, wearing a new designer dress that probably cost more than Mom's monthly salary. She carried several shopping bags and smelled of expensive perfume. You look tired, sweetheart. Still upset about the college situation? I forced a smile, pressing the record button on my phone in my pocket. Just working extra shifts at the cafe. Oh, honey. She patted my cheek condescendingly. Sometimes life doesn't work out the way we plan. But look what I brought you. She thrust a small gift bag at me, a little something from my travels. Inside was a cheap tourist keychain from the Maldives. The price tag was still attached, $4.99. Thanks, Aunt Vivian. It's nice. Mom appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel. Vivian, you're looking well rested. The Maldives does wonders for the soul, Vivian gushed, following Mom to the dining room. The private villa, the personal butler, the endless spa treatments. I just had to treat myself, you know? I caught Mom's slight frown as she served dinner. She knew about the trust fund investigation. We'd told her everything last night. Now she was playing her part perfectly. Sounds expensive, Mom commented mildly. Oh, well, you know me. Vivian waved her hand dismissively, her new diamond bracelet catching the light. Life's too short to pinch pennies. Speaking of which, she turned to me. Sadie, dear, I've been thinking about your situation. Here it comes, I thought. Maybe this is a sign from the universe, she continued, helping herself to Mom's roast chicken. College isn't for everyone. I know plenty of successful people who never went to university. Why, just last week at the resort, I met this fascinating woman who runs her own cleaning service. My phone buzzed. A text from Allison. Everything recording, okay? Need me to create a diversion? I ignored it, focusing on keeping my expression neutral as Vivian rambled on about the benefits of starting from the bottom. Actually, I said carefully, I've been looking into student loans. Vivian's fork paused halfway to her mouth. Loans? Oh, sweetie, no. You don't want to saddle yourself with debt. Besides, your credit probably isn't even. A loud knock at the door cut her off. Mom started to rise, but I jumped up first. I'll get it. It was Wilfred, right on schedule. We'd planned this interruption carefully. Sorry to disturb your dinner, he said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Sadie, could I have a quick word about that banking paperwork we discussed? Vivian's head snapped up. Wilfred, what are you doing here? He stepped into the dining room, his face professionally blank. Evening, Vivian. Just some routine account matters with Sadie. Nothing to worry about. I watched Vivian's face carefully. A flicker of uncertainty crossed it before she masked it with a smile. Banking matters? But Sadie doesn't have any accounts at your bank anymore. Not since the trust fund was depleted. Wilfred raised an eyebrow. Is that what you think? The tension in the room could have been cut with a knife. Mom quietly got up and started clearing plates. Well, I should go, Wilfred said after a moment. Sadie, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. Bring those documents we discussed. He turned to Vivian. You might want to be there too. Just a suggestion. After he left, Vivian's perfectly maintained composure showed its first crack. What was that about? What documents? Oh, just some paperwork about my college fund, I said innocently. By the way, how was the infinity pool at your resort? The one you posted about on Instagram? It looked amazing. She blinked, thrown by the sudden change of subject. It was lovely. Why? Just curious about the cost. Those private villas must be expensive. I I got a special rate. She stood up abruptly. I just remembered, I have an early meeting tomorrow. I should go. As she gathered her things, her new bracelet caught the light again. The same bracelet I'd seen in her Instagram post, tagged with the resort's boutique and price, exactly $15,000 of my college fund. Thanks for dinner, she called out, already heading for the door. I'll be in touch about those cleaning service opportunities. After she left, Mom turned to me. You okay? I stopped the recording on my phone. Perfect. Did you see her face when Wilfred mentioned documents? She's scared, Mom said, starting to load the dishwasher. Good. My phone buzzed again, and this time. How did it go? I texted back. Exactly as planned. She took the bait. See you tomorrow morning. Then I sent a quick message to Allison. All clear. Operation Karma starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. Looking at the cheap keychain Vivian had given me, I couldn't help but smile. She thought she was being so clever, playing the generous aunt while wearing my college fund on her wrist. Tomorrow morning, her carefully constructed world would come crashing down, and I would be there to watch every second of it. The bank's conference room felt colder than usual at 8:55 a.m. Anne sat beside me, arranging documents with military precision. Wilfred stood by the window, checking his watch every few minutes. She'll come, Anne assured me. People like her always do. They're too arrogant not to. Right on cue, Aunt Vivian strutted in at 9:02 a.m., wearing another expensive outfit and carrying a designer briefcase. Her confident smile faltered when she saw Anne. "What's this?" She looked between us. "I thought this was a simple banking matter." "Please sit down," Wilfred said, gesturing to the chair across from me. "We have a lot to discuss." "I don't understand why." "Perhaps this will help clarify things," Anne interrupted, sliding a document across the table. "This is a complete record of your withdrawals from Sadie's trust fund over the past 3 weeks." Vivian's face paled slightly, but she recovered quickly. "As trustee, I have full authority over those funds." "Interesting choice of words," Anne said, pulling out another document. "Because according to the trust agreement, which you signed, you only had authority to release funds for educational purposes." "I was protecting Sadie from making hasty decisions about college," Vivian protested, but her voice wavered. Wilfred stepped forward, placing the security camera photo on the table. "Is that why you forged my signature?" The color drained from Vivian's face completely. "Let's be clear about what happened," Anne continued, her voice steel sharp. "You stole over $200,000 from your niece's college fund, forged bank documents, and spent the money on luxury vacations and shopping sprees. We have every transaction documented, every Instagram post archived, and every fake signature photographed." Vivian's hands trembled as she reached for her water glass. "This is ridiculous. I don't have to listen to these accusations." "Actually, you do," I said, speaking for the first time. "Because in about 30 minutes, the bank's fraud department will be here. They're very interested in that forged signature." "You wouldn't," Vivian whispered. "We're family." "Family?" I pulled out my phone and played last night's recording. Her voice filled the room, mocking my college dreams while wearing jewelry bought with my future. "That's illegal," she snapped. "You can't record people without—" "One-party consent state," Anne cut in smoothly. "Perfectly legal. Would you like to hear the part where you admit to getting a special rate at the resort? Because we have the actual bill showing you paid full price, with Sadie's money." Vivian's composure cracked. "Fine. What do you want?" "Full restitution," Wilfred said firmly. "Every penny returned to the trust fund by the end of the week." "That's impossible. I spent most of it." "Then sell your house," I suggested. "Or that new Mercedes you bought last month. You know, the one you posted about with Blessed?" "You can't be serious." "Or," Anne interrupted, "we can let the fraud department handle this. I'm sure they'd be very interested in your other financial dealings. We've only scratched the surface of our investigation." Vivian's face turned calculating. "If I pay it back, this all goes away?" "Not quite," Wilfred said. "You'll also resign as trustee, effective immediately. The funds will be transferred directly to Sadie's control. And," Anne added, "you'll sign a confession detailing your actions. It stays sealed unless you ever try something like this again." "You're blackmailing me," Vivian hissed. "No," I said quietly. "We're giving you a chance to avoid prison, which is more than you gave me when you stole my future." A knock at the door made everyone jump. A bank security officer poked his head in. "Fraud department's here early. Should I send them in?" Vivian's shoulders slumped. "Wait." She turned to me, desperation in her eyes. "I'll do it. I'll pay it back. Just don't let them in." Anne pulled out a stack of papers. "Sign these, now. Then call your bank and initiate the transfer." As Vivian signed with shaking hands, my phone buzzed. A text from Allison. "Well?" I typed back quickly. "She caved. We won." "I hope you're happy," Vivian muttered, pushing the signed papers across the table. "You've ruined our relationship forever." "No, Aunt Vivian." I replied, standing up. You did that when you decided your luxury vacation was worth more than my education. After she left to make her bank transfers, Wilfred squeezed my shoulder. Your father would be so proud. It's not over yet, Anne cautioned. We need to monitor those transfers, make sure everything goes through. But she'll do it, I said confidently. She's too scared of the alternative now. Looking down at the signed confession, I felt no joy in my victory, only relief and a quiet sense of justice. My phone buzzed again with a final Instagram notification. Vivian had posted one last time. Life has a way of humbling us when we least expect it. Time for some serious reflection. Lessons. Yours karma. I turned off the notifications. I wouldn't need to monitor her social media anymore. I had more important things to focus on now, like finishing my NYU application. Ready to go home? Anne asked, gathering the documents. Actually, I smiled. I think I'm ready to start planning my future again. The last transfer just came through, Wilfred announced, swiveling his computer monitor toward me. Every penny accounted for, plus the interest she owed. I stared at the account balance, hardly daring to believe it. After 3 days of tense waiting, watching partial transfers trickle in as Vivian liquidated her assets, it was finally done. Look at this, Allison said from beside me, holding up her phone. She's selling her Mercedes on Facebook Marketplace, listed 2 hours ago. Anne, who'd been reviewing the final paperwork, looked up with a satisfied smile. Good, actions have consequences. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Vivian's here. She's demanding to see you. Already? I looked at Anne uncertainly. I thought we were done. Want me to come with you? Allison offered. I shook my head. No, I need to handle this myself. I turned to Anne. Unless you think I shouldn't? You have nothing to fear from her anymore, Anne assured me, but text us if you need backup. The drive home felt surreal. When I pulled into our driveway, Vivian's old Honda Civic sat where her Mercedes used to be. The sight gave me a strange mix of satisfaction and sadness. Inside, Mom sat rigid at the kitchen table while Vivian paced the room. My aunt had traded her designer clothes for plain jeans and a sweater. She looked smaller somehow. Finally, she snapped when she saw me. Do you have any idea what you've done to me? My reputation, my lifestyle? Your lifestyle? I interrupted, keeping my voice steady. You mean the one you built by stealing my college fund? I was going to pay it back. She ran her hands through her unkempt hair. I just needed a little time to… To what? Spend more? Post more Instagram photos of my stolen money? Vivian, Mom cut in sharply, I think you should leave. No, not until she understands. Vivian turned to me, eyes wild. I lost everything because of you. My friends won't return my calls. The country club suspended my membership. I had to sell my car. You lost everything because of your own choices. I corrected her. Nobody forced you to forge signatures or empty my account. You don't understand how hard things have been for me. Hard? I felt my careful composure crack. I worked double shifts at the cafe all summer saving for college. Dad spent years building that fund for me, and you blew it on pool parties and designer handbags. Your father, she spat, always played the perfect parent, perfect job, perfect family, perfect little college fund for his perfect daughter, while I got nothing. You got the same opportunities he did, Mom said quietly. You chose different paths. And now, I added, you've chosen this path too. All by yourself. Vivian slumped into a chair. What am I supposed to do now? Start over, I suggested. Get a job, live within your means. You know, like normal people do. I saw you listed your house, Mom said. That's a good start. I had to. The bank wouldn't let me take out another loan. Vivian looked up at me, and for the first time, I saw real regret in her eyes. I really messed up, didn't I? Yes, I said simply. You did. My phone buzzed. An email notification from NYU. My hands shook as I opened it. What is it? Mom asked. I got in, I whispered, then louder. I got in. They accepted my late application. Mom rushed to hug me, while Vivian sat there, looking lost. Congratulations, she said softly. You'll do well there. You're a lot like your father. Thank you, I replied, surprised by the genuine tone in her voice. She stood up, gathering her purse. No longer designer, I noticed. I should go. I have a job interview tomorrow. At a real estate office. Entry-level stuff, but good luck, I said, meaning it. After she left, Mom turned to me. Are you okay? Yeah. I looked down at the NYU acceptance email again. I think I actually am. My phone lit up with texts. First, Allison. Everything okay? Need me to come over? Then Anne. Just checking in. How did it go? And Wilfred? The trust fund is officially in your name now. Your father would be proud. I typed a quick group message. All good. Vivian came to make peace. Sort of. Also, I got into NYU. Looking out the window, I could see Vivian's old Honda pulling away. She'd lost her expensive car, her luxury lifestyle, and her carefully curated social media image. But maybe, just maybe, she'd gained something more valuable, a lesson in consequences and truth. Want to celebrate? Mom asked, already reaching for her car keys. We could grab dinner at that little Italian place Dad used to love. I smiled, thinking of all the times we'd sat there as a family. Dad telling stories about his college days, while I dreamed of my own future. A future that was now, finally, back on track. Yeah, I said, that sounds perfect. 3 weeks later, I stood in Dad's study, packing the last of my things for NYU. Each book and photo carried memories, but one item stopped me cold. The cheap Maldives keychain Vivian had given me that night at dinner. Keep it, Allison said from where she sat cross-legged on the floor, helping me sort through boxes. It's like a trophy now. The doorbell rang, followed by Mom's voice. Sadie, Anne and Wilfred are here. They walked in carrying a large wrapped package between them. Anne's eyes were suspiciously bright. We wanted to give you this before you leave, Wilfred said, setting the package on Dad's desk. It's from all of us. I unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a beautiful leather briefcase, exactly like the one Dad used to carry. A small gold plate on the front read, For Sadie, chase your dreams. They're yours to catch. We found your father's original college acceptance letter in the bank's archives, Anne explained, pulling out an aged envelope. Thought you might want to have it. My hands trembled as I opened it. Dad's excitement jumped off the page, his younger self's words full of hope and determination. There's something else, Wilfred added, producing a thick envelope. The bank's scholarship committee met yesterday. They've decided to create an annual award in your father's name. You're the first recipient. I opened the envelope to find a certificate and a check that would cover my textbooks for the entire year. But why? I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. Because you showed incredible integrity, Anne said. You fought for what was right, but you also showed mercy. Not many people would have given Vivian a chance to make amends privately. Speaking of Vivian, Mom said from the doorway, she left this for you this morning. She handed me a plain white envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. Dear Sadie, I started this letter a dozen times, but there's no good way to apologize for what I did. The truth is, I was jealous of your father's success, of your potential, of everything I never became. That's no excuse, but it's the truth. I got the real estate job. Entry level, like I said. The pay isn't much, but it's honest work. My house sells next week, and I found a small apartment. It's not the life I imagined, but maybe it's the life I need. I'm enrolling in night classes at the community college. Better late than never, right? The trust fund money was never mine to take. I know that now. I hope you'll use it the way your father intended, to build something meaningful. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know I'm trying to be better. Good luck at NYU. Aunt Vivian P.S. I deleted my Instagram account. Real life is more important than filtered photos. Wow, Allison said, reading over my shoulder. That's actually genuine. She stopped by the bank yesterday, Wilfred added. Wanted to make sure all the paperwork was properly filed for transferring the trust to your control. And she asked me for recommendations for therapists, Mom said quietly. She's trying, Sadie. I tucked the letter into my new briefcase, next to Dad's acceptance letter. Two very different pieces of family history, both teaching their own lessons. Oh, Allison jumped up. We're going to be late for your goodbye dinner. Everyone's waiting at Antonio's. Anne smiled. The old Italian place? Perfect choice. We drove separately to the restaurant, where a small crowd had gathered in the private back room. My high school teachers, cafe co-workers, even some of Dad's old friends, all here to wish me well. As we sat down, I noticed a small package at my place setting. The card read, "From your first supporter, love, Mom." Inside was Dad's old fountain pen, the one he'd used to sign all his important papers. A note wrapped around it said, "For signing your own dreams into reality." "Speech!" someone called out, and suddenly all eyes were on me. Standing up, I held the pen tight. A month ago, I thought my dreams were stolen. But what I learned is that dreams can't really be stolen, not if you're willing to fight for them. I learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about the people who stand by you, who help you up when you're down, who believe in you even when the path seems impossible. I looked around at these faces, Anne's proud smile, Wilfred's kind eyes, Allison's encouraging grin, Mom's tears of joy. Dad used to say that education is the one thing nobody can take from you once you have it. He was right about that, and about so many other things. Tomorrow I start my journey at NYU, but I'm not going alone. I'm carrying all of your support, all of your love, and all of Dad's wisdom with me. I raised my glass of water. So here's to dreams worth fighting for, to second chances, to real friends, and to the kind of family you choose. To family, they echoed. And in that moment, surrounded by love and support, I knew that whatever challenges NYU held, I was ready to face them. Dad's pen felt warm in my hand, like a torch being passed. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight was for celebrating how far I'd already come. The autumn breeze carried the scent of coffee and new beginnings as I unlocked the door to my NYU dorm room. Mom insisted on making my bed, while Allison helped arrange my desk, placing Dad's photo in the perfect spot beside my new laptop. "Last box," Wilfred announced, setting it down carefully. He and Anne had surprised us by driving up to help with move-in day. "Though this one's not from your room." The box was marked James Davis Office in Mom's neat handwriting. "I found it while cleaning last night," Mom explained. "I thought, well, open it." Inside were Dad's old college textbooks, their margins filled with his neat annotations. A folded piece of paper fluttered out, his first college essay, marked with an A and a professor's note. "Brilliant analysis. You have a bright future ahead." "He kept everything," I whispered, running my fingers over his handwriting. A knock at the door made us all turn. There, looking uncertain in simple business casual clothes, stood Aunt Vivian. "I hope it's okay," she said quietly. "The real estate office had a showing nearby, and I wanted to see you off properly." The room fell silent. Anne shifted protectively closer to me, while Wilfred watched Vivian carefully. Come in, I said, surprising everyone, including myself. Vivian stepped inside, clutching her practical work bag, a far cry from her former designer accessories. Your father's books, she noticed, gesturing to the box. He used to study with those until midnight. Mom would get so mad at him for keeping the lights on. You never talk about when you and Dad were young, I said. No, I suppose I don't. She reached into her bag. Actually, that's partly why I'm here. I found these while packing up my house. She pulled out a small photo album. Inside were pictures I'd never seen. Dad and Vivian as teenagers, laughing on a tire swing. Dad helping Vivian with her math homework, both of them at Dad's college graduation. He helped me study for my SATs, Vivian said softly. I never took them, though. I was too scared of failing, of not measuring up, so I just gave up, watched him succeed while I made excuses. She turned to a final photo, Dad holding newborn me, while Vivian looked on with a genuine smile. When you were born, he said you had his determination. He was right. Vivian? Mom started, but Vivian held up her hand. Please, let me finish. I've been seeing a therapist, like I promised. She's helping me understand why I did what I did. It doesn't excuse anything, but she pulled out an envelope. This is my first paycheck from the real estate office. I want you to have it. I can't take that, I protested. Please, not because it makes up for anything, but because it represents something honest, something earned. She placed it on my desk. Use it for pizza when you're studying late, like your dad used to. Anne stepped forward. That's a meaningful gesture, Vivian. There's more, Vivian continued. I registered for business classes at community college, 2 nights a week. Baby steps, right? Right, I smiled, feeling something tight in my chest begin to loosen. Well, she glanced at her watch. I should go. I have a showing in 20 minutes. Real work, helping real people find homes. It's different, good different. As she turned to leave, I called out, Aunt Vivian? She paused. Maybe you could email me sometimes? Let me know how your classes are going? Her eyes welled up. I'd like that. After she left, Allison broke the silence. That was unexpected. But good, Mom said, squeezing my shoulder. Very good, Anne agreed. Sometimes the best revenge is watching someone learn and grow. Wilfred checked his watch. We should head out too. Let you get settled before orientation. One by one, they hugged me goodbye. Mom held on longest, whispering, Dad would be so proud of who you've become. Finally alone, I sat at my desk, looking at the collection of items that told my story. Dad's books and photo, the new briefcase, Vivian's honest paycheck, and yes, even that tacky Maldives keychain. My phone buzzed with a text from Allison. First college crisis. Call me, no matter what time. Then Anne, remember, you've already proven you can handle anything. Wilfred, your father's daughter indeed. Make waves, Sadie. Mom, love you, dream big. And finally, Vivian, thank you for the second chance. I won't waste it. I opened Dad's old textbook, smiling at his notes in the margins. On the inside cover, he'd written, Education is the key to any door you want to open. Pulling out my laptop, I began typing my own story, not for class, but for me, about trust and betrayal, about falling and rising, about family lost and found, about how sometimes the hardest lessons teach us the most important things. Outside my window, the NYU campus buzzed with new beginnings. I was ready for mine, carrying with me not just Dad's dreams, but my own hard-won wisdom about justice, mercy, and the power of second chances. Opening Dad's textbook to Chapter 1, I uncapped his fountain pen and made my first note in the margin. The journey continues.